Greetings, sending awesome, warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary, aka Kwasapeacefull eating. And I just came on very quickly. I'm supposed to be on my way to the market, but I got distracted with cleaning and so on. So I'm gonna head out to the market. So I decided in the shower to just wash my hair. Right now, it's just with water. And I thought I'd come on quickly just to answer a subscriber question. Someone asked whether or not I brush my locks. I literally just washed and massaged my hair with water. A lot of times I use teas, aloe, the things that I'm pulling from the garden. So I don't have any products, no oil. I'm not doing all that stuff. So it still shrinks. I still have high shrinkage hair, so it's going to shrink up. But all I'm doing is blotting it dry with a towel. So the answer is yes and no. I don't brush my hair regularly. I have this brush, which is super soft, and a baby brush, though I rarely use them. Why? Because I pay attention and I'm listening to my hair. I'm feeling the texture of my hair, which, by the way, when it's dry as in not wet, though it's not brittle. And just now when I washed my hair and I massaged my hair has natural sebum, so when the warm to hot water is on it, it feels almost like conditioner is on my hair, right? So when I'm really massaging the scalp and really smoothing it, it feels like there's conditioner. So there's no products, there's no nothing on my hair. Our hair actually has a sheen, though it behaves differently, so you can't see it because it kinks up like cotton, and the light reflects off of it differently, right? Because it's cotton. You know, cotton doesn't usually, you can't see light reflecting off of it. So there's nothing in it. I'm just blowing it a towel. I take the effort to use like brown or a black towel, so I don't have pieces of white lint in my hair. I can see my hair is very brown. Now that it has a little length, my hair is like brown. Back in the day, my mother and other people call this reddish brown, but it's a brown color. I do have a few grays, which my intention is to just enjoy it, right, and see what it's doing. So the baby brush is so delicate. A lot of baby brushes actually are they're so delicate to not scratch a baby scalp. I think they're like a plastic, but they're really, really soft. So it's rare I will use this brush because my hair is delicate. I will see pieces. If I see broken off pieces in the sink or anything, that means that my hair is overly dry, or maybe I wasn't wearing, because I don't like to wear scarves, but I need to more regularly, in the garden. So I'm in the hot sun beating down on my hair. So it's rare. Here's where I will use the brush, right? First of all, I don't like to, definitely regularly, because my hair is very delicate and fine. It just can't take, all that handling, right? Usually I mostly smooth it down because I don't want to damage my already done. So between the baby brush and this one, this is not hard. It's super soft. Actually, I have several brushes because I use different types of brushes for dry brush massage and skin. So every now and then when I do, it'll be just like this. It's so soft, just a little bit at the top, because I don't twist my hair, right, like this, but I listen. There's some schools of thought that say your hair is at its most delicate point when it's wet. With locks, your hair is locking and tangling in on itself. So I just separated them the other day, but I don't usually separate them. And by the way, I think this is week 12 of an experiment to see how long it would take my hair to lock. So this used to be like 4 or 5 locks. This is going to show you how fine my hair is. Look, I don't have many locks. So I decided to let these two join. So I would say this has to be week 12. These are thoroughly joined. I could still manage to rip it apart. So, but I would say maybe, is that 12 weeks? Yeah, maybe about 12 weeks for this to lock. So this is locked, right? Again, if I'm twisting, you would be seeing my scalp. So what people refer to, what do you call it? Protective styling. I'm coining this restful styling, restful psychologically and restful mechanically, right? So I don't really like to manipulate my hair so much because it's very delicate and it can't take it. Again, I've had numerous cuts and trims. This used to be a big fluffy lock, right? So once the hair matures and it gets compact, you can see what it's going to look like. So when people say, "Oh, it's thick or it's full," that's from leaving it alone. You see, it joins. My hair joins together very, very quickly, so it will lock quickly. I let them join at the base so they will have support. I would have loved sister locks, but I'm not sitting in anybody's lawn chair. That doesn't work in my lifestyle. It's too, but I love the way they look. So I'm really about the low maintenance and leaving my hair alone. Intuitively and through observation, if I want to keep my hair on my head, then leave it alone. My hair, my body, my skin constantly for years communicate, stop messing with me, stop overdoing me. Definitely tight styles. I'm like, that's tight styles. Even pulling into my favorite ponytail, that's a recipe for alopecia, right? So I don't know if you can relate when you're pulling, let's say when I do the tight two ponytails, which I make an effort to do loose. And if I'm trying to gather all of the stuff, people trying to catch the kitchens and make it look super neat, that can immediately give me those little too tight bumps, is what I would call them, too tight bumps, which is an indicator it's pain, which is trauma. It's too much for my hair. So even too much pulling, right? It hurts. So that means no tension, a whole bunch of manipulation is no bueno. So I'm not even doing a whole bunch of brushing and all that. And so I don't need, that's baby hair, if we will, or little ringlets or coily ringlets from it being wet. Oh wow, this is gray. That's a great hair right there. But this is a texture. It's wet. It's going to dry up as I go out into the sun. I prefer to smooth it. Why? Because I want to mechanically, with the little teeth on the brush, I don't want to break my hair into pieces. So I always look in the sink to see if there are pieces. If I wanted to neaten it, I usually smooth it and tie it down. And I just made some new scarves. So I have a new one. Let me see if I can find it. I got a new scarf. Yeah, so I'm always doing stuff homegrown. So I just made a new scarf, a silky satin scarf, which will look cute underneath my little hats when I go outside. So that's my effort at protecting my skin and hair from the sun, because I have to admit the sun is hot and I am out in the garden quite often. So I'd rather this, but every now and then, ever so subtly, I might just give a gentle brush, but not on a regular basis. Not on a regular basis. I don't think I would do this when this was dry. If this was dry, again, people can say a lot of things, but there's nothing like your own being in your own experimental laboratory. Just ever so gentle, right? For light debris. But I don't really get a bunch of buildup. Why? Because I never put oil. If I don't put oil in, I don't have to work hard to get it out. All that that manipulation, put it in, strip it down, put it in, strip it down. It's too much back and forth. I apply the same principle to food. If I'm eating a whole bunch of heavy cheeses, deep fried foods, which I no longer eat, which Ashanta, Mashinta, Shabalaba, I don't eat that stuff anymore, which is amazing because I was an addict. I was a junk food addict, and that trajectory was looking like the comorbidities. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, obesity was waiting for me. So if I don't put it in, I don't have to work hard to get it out. So certain things I've taken off the table. If my hair is ever hanging on by a hair string, by a strand, I will cut it off. I feel very comfortable with bald hair. That's for me. Everyone's on their individual journey. I have no desire to be in a prison, constantly anxious with a smiling face to the outer world, but feeling very insecure and beholden to products and everybody else and the constant trends. That's anxiety. To me, that's a recipe for emotional instability. That has been my experience. So I don't desire to live in a prison where the validation is from outside of myself in terms of what I look like. Some people will prefer this, some people won't. But the most important thing is that I feel comfortable in my hair and skin. When I pass my reflection, I have a spontaneous smile because I'm enjoying. I feel good, first of all, because I really put time and integrity into my movement practice, my garden, no matter what's going on with different types of circumstances in the world or things that may happen. Those are pretty consistent in my life for years. So those give me a type of real confidence that's beyond just saying some affirmations, but in the back of my mind, I don't believe myself. So they help me feel good about myself. And they also help me in radical self-acceptance, accepting what I have. And I intend to enjoy my body temple while I have it through the different phases and stages of life and the maturation process. That's my hair, that's my toes. The body gets wear and tear, even with the best care. So Rarely, if I wanted to like smooth, I'm barely touching this over, but I don't do this often, right? And actually, I make a point of using my hands, right? Much like many chocolate women will use their hands to detangle. I like to use my hands to smooth my hair down. And then I also have my little fenugreek. Little fenugreek. Let's see what we got here. So my little fenugreek. I'm always mixing things from my kitchen apothecary. So here's the fenugreek, and I might have done 1 or 2 videos on this channel. There's one, I believe, with aloe, one with fenugreek, and one with the nopales. These are all things that you can grow very easily inside of your yard, right? So here is my fenugreek. So I could put some of this on if I want, being I'm going to go out in the sun. And I got to get going. I got to get to the market. So that's what it looks like. I just ground up the fenugreek, and then but what? Look at that. So when you think of water-based products, right, what they're selling, sometimes I don't use this all the time, but look at that. You see how it absorbs, right? And it's water-based, right? So if I wanted to, I could smooth a little bit of that on. And with my hair, water and things sit on top, I smooth it in, smooth into my hair. And you can feel your hair to feel dryness, the texture. You know, it's like, I don't think many of us have really done a deep dive into the natural texture of our hair, especially when it comes to no products. I don't know, many of us have experienced our hair raw. So this is just light, so light, and I'm just gonna smooth it into my hair. So that's smooth. When you smooth your hands down your hair, if you see a lot of broken pieces, something may be off. Maybe you're over stripping your hair with shampoos. So back in the day when I was using a lot of shampoos and I had tried those cheapo depot shampoos, the VO5 and all that other stuff, Tutti Frutti, I knew better. But I didn't realize just how stripping they were, how harsh the detergents were. It's like one of those times I was being really frugal. And I said, let me try these little so-called natural scents. That stuff feels like a harsh detergent and will strip your hair, especially if it's already very delicate. So this is almost gone. And I'm just smoothing that into my hair. So I prefer my hands. I also noticed with fenugreek and with aloe, what folks are looking to attain with all of these harsh gels. And back in the day, when I was doing double strand twists, I used to use the black styling gel. I used to get the big old tub of the black styling gel. So I like to use things on my hair and skin that I can eat, right? That I can recognize. I used to have a truckload of acne. Scroll back and you can see the community section. So if I wanted to, if I just smooth this down or smooth this on the back of my head to my little, to the back and to the kitchen, it feels so nice. And I can also take this and smooth it onto my skin. It's water based. Oh, that feels so nice. And this feels kind of like aloe, where it tightens your skin. So I threw away my shower caddy many years ago. I'm not bringing it back. That's not happening. I'm just not, because I found it. You may have a different experience. It's just distressing. I remember always end up at the beauty supply store and then the health food store, you know, for all these shampoos. So more so than being cheap, it's about, I just think of my grandma Lou, it shouldn't have to be hard. Eating healthy shouldn't be like rocket science. Moving your body. I don't think you need a gym membership, although I've been a trainer at some top gyms. And I just don't think caring for your hair needs to be complicated. I think it's a tremendous source of stress. Between the TV, these hypnotic screens, and being at the beauty supply store chasing tail and chasing retail, you know, that's a lot of time. I am not doing all of that. Period. Not a priority. Not a priority. Relaxation and ease is a priority for me. That's the priority. Relaxation and ease. You know, to be able to roll out of bed in this morning spontaneously. I haven't done it in a while, but the early riser circle, some relaxation and breathing was on this channel. Usually I move that over to Patreon or a private platform because of the randomness online. So all I have to do is smooth this in with my little chocolate fingers. That's it. And that's it. So other than water, that's what the fenugreek does, right? That texture. And I leave my kitchens right there. Salt and tobacco. Hey, why your locks are getting so long? They're gorgeous. Thank you. Now it's still high shrinkage. So this will shrink up. If it's here, it's going to shrink up. And that's okay. But you know what's interesting? I don't pay attention to the length. Like I wear it a lot in a style that I always wanted since I was a little girl. I always wanted the two braids, but I didn't, you know, our hair doesn't fall like that. So now it's got a little length on it, so I can do my two braids. And I'll make two braids because now I notice certain styles not so conducive as it gets a little bit longer. And by the way, as I've mentioned, all my locks are flat. So too much tension will put indentations and stress my hair out. It looks full. Instead of going this way, they're all wide and flat. So that's what makes it look full. And so even when somebody says, "Oh, your skin is nice," or your hair is gorgeous, to me it's amazing because I'm not doing anything. And to me, epiphany. Maybe y'all can't relate. I don't know if you can relate, but those defining moments where you're thinking like, "Ooh, what? I wish I could just leave my hair alone." I always wanted bouncing and behaving hair. We see our vanilla counterparts, they can roll out of bed and go, get in the shower and go. I'm like, how come we can't do that? We can, and we don't actually even need oil. Ooh, we don't. But it's for us to be prepared to sit back and see what the hair and skin does, right? I want to enjoy my body temple and all the different phases of life. If we take really good care of ourselves, and taking good care of ourselves is not necessarily buying a whole bunch of products. I'll give you a little hint. I'll give you a little principle. A lot of it, and some folks may not want to hear this. Don't be mad at me, but if you are, I'm not going to take it personal because it ain't got nothing to do with me. Is what you leave out, is what you stop doing. We spend on expensive cleansing programs, binge before, this may not be you, binge before the cleansing program or the fast. Oh, let me binge or whatever, get the cheese in, let me get this in the alcohol, let me party hardy like a rock star because I'm doing a cleanse tomorrow. The body is not stupid. The cells are not stupid. That's like when we say we're cheating, we're really cheating our organs, kidney, liver, and spleen, and then are running like mad to buy expensive products when it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. If we want tone, you're not going to have tone unless you have vigorous physical activity incorporated into your day. Why? Who are we trying to get over on? Why should we expect to have a toned body if we don't exercise it? Why would we expect to have the same composition of when we were 12 or 13 or 7 and 10 and running outside where your mother couldn't get you to come in, you know, from playing, and we weren't preoccupied with food then? So if we want a firm tone body, we've got to challenge it. If we want to be flexible and injury free, then we've got to work flexibility and mobility into our daily habits. It's also what we leave out. I had to come to terms with what was making my skin break out with truckloads of acne was the things I wasn't leaving out. Even when I transferred a lot of that my health junk over to vegan health junk, vegan Oreos. So my skin was looking like a vegan pizza, vegan Oreos, and all of that. After a while, I was like, you know what, I don't care what these people say, these labels say, I'm playing games with myself. That's why my skin wouldn't clear up. All of that juicing, and everyone's body may be different. I also realized from being surrounded by health and nutrition and so much education that rather than just looking at the outside, my skin, my liver, I knew that my liver was being taxed from all of that junk food. It doesn't matter if it was vegan or organic. And over the years, there were so many, and I said this to clients and people that I work with. Shout out to Flower Fit, all the folks that have done the 7-day nutritional reset and Sunday coaching. I had to have a come to honesty moment and acknowledge that I had to pay for all the stuff I put in my body. It didn't disappear with a couple of green juices, stuff that I'd been eating for years. All of that bubble gum, Pal 1-cent gums, lick sticks, Chico sticks, the powder. Oh my God, what was dipsticks? I don't know if y'all know about that can. Dipstick, you take the white vanilla candy stick and you dip it into the powder. And that stuff was crazy. Then it was the fish, the Swedish fish. Those are delicious. I'm lucky I have teeth in my mouth. So I had to pay for all of that stuff that I was eating. And so all the pulling, you know, my hair doesn't fully grow back from all the pulling that I did had on it with tight braids. You know, one of the Afro sisters did my hair and I was like, "Oh, too tight." She said, "It's okay, okay." Not advocating for myself. I went on a trip and I couldn't get it out until I got home from that Miami trip. But when I tell you I was putting on the airplane, I was putting ice cubes on my scalp, Vaseline, everything. It was when I got home, walked through the door, where the scissors. I cut that. I didn't even care about the hair. So no more no lie, which is a big old lie, relaxers, no straightening combs. My hair can't take it. I have to find the pictures. I'm looking, you know, all cute as a button before the acne really kicked in, and my hair was all broken off, looking broke down productions. Oh, let me plug this in. Before I make it healthy here, my go to the market. So this is not the season. This is not the season to be playing games lying to ourselves. Doesn't make you a bad person, but if you're really looking for results, if you're not investing in yourself, if you're not investing in a daily vigorous movement practice, if you're not taking the majority of what you're eating, if it's all dry on your plate with lots of grease and oil and fat, then what are we expecting? And then there's no end to the amount of companies that are going to tell you great things and come up with some subjective studies about non-beneficial habits, right? It keeps us on a whole stroll. So I don't, but it's more obvious than ever. There's enough evidence. There's enough, nothing else. There's enough. You have enough feedback to observe the patterns. You don't need a PhD to observe the patterns. When I ate this, and that, I could feel the pimples coming out of my skin, and that wasn't fun. Eating healthy and having back then a ripped up body competition, and my face was looking like the sidewalk. I did not like that. Then to have to put on makeup, I was like, this is no bueno. This is no bueno. So sometimes, unfortunately, as a species, we suffer before we change. You don't have to. It doesn't have to take you 30 years. You can learn certain things and make certain changes in a fraction of the time. It doesn't have to take us a million years to get trim, fit, and healthy. We can take that off the table. We can take the hair off the table. We can take certain things economically off the table. You don't have to, and this is just my opinion, telling you to my younger flowers and trees out there, you don't have to break your bank on all of this fashion. I get it. I love fashion. Most of that stuff went in the garbage. Many of us don't know how to adjust our clothes for our body type or how to style basics and neutrals. We're some of the largest consumers, and then we have the audacity to act like we're confused about our results and everything. You know, just keep blaming everything on these outside forces again, as we discussed this morning, this early day. I'm very wary of anything or any advice or counseling that would have me, or any religious or spiritual practices that would have me remove accountability and responsibility. Something could have happened to me, yet no matter what the situation, my life is my responsibility. So if I want different results, I'm likely going to have to get uncomfortable, invest in coaching, learning, doing things differently, accept the withdrawal process, and find out what other kinds of alternatives, changes that I can make, right? Because the conditioning doesn't disappear. I'm humble. Some people say programming, very particular with language. Conditioning is no joke. As humans, we mimic and we are conditioned. Because how else could we be doing the things that we do to ourselves? We talk about other people mistreating us, but placing our own selves, reproductive organs, our future generations, we placing them in harm's way. But that's just my perspective. All right, so I'm smoothing this down and put my new little scarf on. So I think I made 4 of these, maybe 4 or 8 of these. I don't need all of them, so maybe I'll put them in my little gift shop on my site. But that's it. See, disappears in. See how complicated that is? I don't need the hairbrush. I dare say I could go outside with nothing on my face, which, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. You can't tell me nothing about no fruits and vegetables and no movement. That has worked. Somebody asked me, so you mean to tell me, numerous people have said, so you mean to tell me that 100% living, whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods, daily sweaty movement, and sleep. And what I've left out, leaving out, is one of the most important parts, is what you leave out. That means you don't eat it anymore. No longer. The detox process, a lot of times people say cravings and don't unpack and don't distinguish cravings. A lot of times you're experiencing chemical withdrawal when you're releasing things from your system, right? So your system is you become chemically conditioned, right? And accustomed physiologically as well as psychologically to the things we're eating, right? There's that sensory feel of the fat and the salt and the sugar. It's also chemical, right? So we're having lots of reactions in the body. So anywho, hopefully this is helpful. So you don't need a brush. You can if you want to, but I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting no part in it. Somehow the part has still remained. I don't mind if it grows out. It's very fine. Maybe it's 30, 31 lots. Just rinsed it, blotting it with a towel. Think of how much free time. This is an option. I'm not shaming nobody. I had a Jerry curl and a gold tooth with a heart in it. I'm not shaming anybody for their process. And I have people valuable in my life that have chemicals, whatever in their hair. I don't give a two hootie patoots about what you have in your hair. I care about how you treat me consistently. More so than king and queen. That's nice, but treatment trumps everything. So somebody's not less valuable because they are 300 pounds or they have a perm cell. We're not doing that. Though this is a viable option. This takes a lot off the table. I'm not worried about hair. I'm not worried about food or dieting anymore. I'm not worried about the movement practice because now that's a habit. And then now there's garden therapy, a very viable way to source yourself emotionally and to release stress. It has so many benefits. So that's what we're doing over here. The dipstick, right? So it's about, you remember the dipstick? Anyway, let me get out of here. Let me go put some quick clothes on because I like, effortless chic. And I just did a little thing that is fun. I like vintage clothes because that's just not, I like fashion, but not like that anymore. I just can't see it. With the state of the world where we're at, I can't justify that to myself, that amount of money on clothes. Very rare, but it's just not where I am right now. I have other priorities, experiences, dance, movement, travel, my garden, watching flowers bloom, having time to take a nap and relax. That's the priority. That's the priority. So like, comment respectfully, subscribe, let the sun hit and dry my hair. BODYCULINARY, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Coaching, Whole Living Foods and Fitness is every Sunday. That's a group coaching, so you can sign up for that on the BODYCULINARY website. If you can't make it to the coaching, if you want to get started with a guidebook, there's Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. That is available on the website. There is the Raw Vegan Cakes workshop that's up on the website. There's Healthy Eating for Men, because I got quite a few men folk on my page. Hey, we birth to sons and daughters here, right? So, yeah, I respect the men folk and the women over here. So, is there anything else? Natural beauty, no products. You can see my fine hair before I locked it up, and I use food on my hair and skin. That's what works for me consistently, and it's easy. Ease and relaxation are so, I can't say enough about it. So in this climate of what I will call triggeration, it's critical to observe our thinking and reasoning process and observe what is triggering our autopilot behaviors. Does that make sense? Like, comment, subscribe, create a great purpose, and see you soon. Support the channel if you like. Information's in the bio.